Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the fourth and final episode of the Hybrid Theory Music Review. I'm Ryan.
I'm Zach.
And this is Max.
Today we are going to be jumping into Forgotten, Cure for the Itch, and Pushing Me Away, the final three songs. We left off with Place for My Head. Is that correct?
I think that's good. Yeah, I think that's correct.
That's correct. Yep, that is. All right, I just had to check my notes. But anyways, strap in. Should be another riveting episode. But before we get into that, the most important part, what's everybody drinking this afternoon?
Well, I am indulging in a lovely Pinot Grigio this afternoon.
Ooh.
Wow, bougie over here.
Pinky.
Yeah, so bougie with my Pinot Grigio from a box.
Pinky, pinky up.
Pinky. The higher you raise it, the fancier you are.
Fancier you are.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, this was left over from Jordan's birthday party, and it's actually quite good. It was like Bogota Box or something. I think that was the
Bota
brand
Box?
of it. Bota Box, yes. Max, thank you.
Bota box. There you go.
It's good. It's not like over the top sweet for a Pinot Grigio, so I actually like it.
Awesome. Max.
I went with the old reliable, the old spotted cow.
Spotted the cow, huh?
Yeah, except it
Nice,
was in
nice.
the like the space between frozen and cold part of my refrigerator. So it's like perfect.
Was it like a slushy when you opened it?
No, the outside
like
was like a
just
slushy.
shy.
There's like some icy on on the glass bottle.
That is perfect.
So you know it
temperature.
was the right temperature.
Right.
I'm surprised you don't have like a thing of wings sitting next to you for the perfect pairing, right?
Right.
Looks like
Exactly.
Uber Eats is gonna have another thing coming.
Ryan, what do you got
I'm not,
going over there?
Not very fancy today. I just got Rolling Rock out of a can.
I'm back in college again, baby. I'm back in college. I swear. Every party is Rolling Rock in the keg. It's like a
Really?
good middle ground where it's not like super good stuff and it's not terrible.
Right next to 24 packs of PBR.
Yeah. For the less fancy people in the party.
Did you guys
It's like-
ever have Cool before? You ever had Cool?
I have no idea what that is.
You've never had... Oh, it's like real knockoff PBR is how I would describe Cool.
Oh my god. Have you actually had like Milwaukee Ice? Like, does people actually drink that?
I've had it before. Yeah, it's a thing. Ryan, are you there? I can't hear you. Maybe try.
Unplug it and plug it back in.
Oh,
Nope.
something happened there.
That better?
Hey,
Yes.
there
Okay.
you are. You're back.
Returned. All right.
That was weird.
It does that sometimes. I don't know.
Well,
Time.
for those of you watching on YouTube, this is a bit of a different episode of the Muddled Thoughts because we're not recording in the middle of night for once, so that's pretty exciting.
Everyone's like, why is there sunlight behind Zach?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, holy crap.
And Ryan too.
You can
Ryan,
see my whole face.
your
and
bedroom is
everything.
lit.
and it's bright. It's always lit. My bedroom's always lit.
I feel a little bit more awake. I'm excited. It's good. I can see you guys. It's lit. Quite literally lit.
Right?
I'm excited to finish up this album. I feel like
Me too.
we've been doing this for over many weeks now, 4 weeks, talking about this
Yep.
album. It's going to feel good to get done with it.
Yep. Move on to the next one.
Mm-hmm. What's it going to be, though? Oh.
Ooh. Do.
I think we might have already given it away in a previous episode. I don't know.
Yeah, potentially. I'm not sure.
I think people that know us already know what's going to be just
Yeah.
by knowing who we are.
True.
Right.
Anybody that's listening at this point probably has a good guess, I would guess.
Mm-hmm.
SpongeBob soundtrack. We all know it.
SpongeBob the movie.
Just a whole 4-part episode of like each 30 seconds of the campfire song.
Number
Really
one on the
breaking
ranking, a Goofy Goober.
Breaking it down. We got the Rip Pants song in there. A lot of emotion behind that song. So
The winner takes
I-
all.
could be a whole hour on its own.
Right?
Yeah, don't even get me started on Bubble Bowl and I don't even remember the name of that song. But yeah,
Sweet, sweet victory. I'm disappointed in you.
Sweet
But anyways,
victory.
let's get into
Flag Twirlers. Flag Twirlers. Are we gonna get into
Yes.
what the people came for now?
Yeah, I think so. I think
Okay.
we've stalled enough.
Okay, as if we needed to stall.
Right?
All right. First, as you said, Ryan, the first song on our list for today is track number 10 on Hybrid Theory, Forgotten.
From the top to the bottom the top I stop. At the core I'm forgotten. In the middle of my thoughts. Taking far from my safety. The picture's there. The memory won't escape me. But why should I care? From the top to the bottom the top I stop. At the core I'm forgotten. In the middle of my thoughts. Taking far from my safety. The picture's there. The memory won't escape me. But why should I care? There's a place so dark you can't see the end. Skies cocked back. Shotgun which can't defend. The rain then sends dripping. Acidic questions.
Cool.
I'm curious to see if we have a lot of the same notes for these last 3 songs like we did the last parts, Zach.
Yeah, I think as the album has progressed, we've kind of, all of our viewpoints have kind of converged at least a little bit. I think we all
Right.
started in maybe a little bit different places, but then as the album has gone on, hearing everybody and, taking the whole track list into consideration, it does seem like it has converged at least a little bit. Maybe not completely,
Right.
though. I'm curious what Max has to say about these last couple songs, because they're much more, I think, musically inclined, at least number 11 is. Curious to hear
Yeah.
if there's anything special. But
As in, like, less lyrically driven, is what you're saying?
a little bit, yeah, I think so.
Okay.
I don't know. There's some stuff to unpack for sure. I guess we'll get there, right? That's what this is all
Yeah.
about.
Yeah.
Right.
So with Forgotten, track number 10, we're kind of immediately thrown into the song. There's no like interlude to the song like there has been in the previous ones. And
Right.
I don't know if that's done on purpose or what, but I made a special note of it because it's like, I think maybe it mirrors what the song is talking about, where maybe, the actions or the thoughts aren't as thought through as they were previously. I'm not sure, but it's one of the only songs that's like that on the entire album.
Yeah. I mean, my first note on there is growing numb to bad memories and negative emotions / trying to forget. So it's like you said, it's kind of towards the end of, the struggle, and they've come to terms with it, and they're just trying to push it away.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I'm going to read the first couple of lines here because I have a note that's very similar to that. And then we can go from there. So
right.
Again, the very beginning it starts with, from the top to the bottom to the top I stop. At the core I've forgotten, in the middle of my thoughts. Taken far from my safety, the picture's there. The memory won't escape me, but why should I care?
Yeah.
Yeah, like you said, Ryan, it's those memories and those thoughts that they're thinking about, but seems like they're almost like ignoring it or just like choosing to act kind of rashly or like boldly, I guess maybe is a better word for it in this case.
Right. I mean, and that line, the memory won't escape me, but why should I care, is just like the perfect like vocal representation of just mental wear. Like who gives a shit anymore?
Yep,
Is essentially what that line is. Like,
they're done. No mas. I'm
like
done.
whatever. If it's gonna stick around, whatever.
Mm-hmm. It's kind of like, I think of it as like working in the restaurant business, right? You're so busy, there's so much to do that you've gotten to the point where you're like, you just accept it. You're like, I'm screwed.
Yep.
I'm screwed
That-
either way.
That was me on Saturday. By like 2 hours before end of service, I was like, you know what? Whatever. I'm not even gonna be angry anymore.
I've accepted this sucks. Let's just get it over with.
Exactly. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I guess, yeah, I can totally relate to that, because once you do that, you have that moment where you just accept that it's bad. There is like a feeling of relief almost behind that, right? You don't have to worry
Yep.
about it anymore.
Just accept your fate. Roll with the punches from there on out.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a weight lifted off your shoulders, you know.
Right. It's like, why stress out about something that you're probably not going to be able to change anyway? Like, obviously keep working at it, but don't get so stressed out about it that you're not going to deal with it or move on, I guess.
Right.
Cool. Yeah, sounds like we're on the same page so far, at least. So,
ESPN.
ESPN. Da-na-na, da-na-na. I'm Chris Berman.
Jesus.
So, okay, what do we got next here? Oh, we actually take kind of a sinister turn here. At least I
Mhm.
think. So the next
Yep.
next verse here is, there's a place so dark you can't see the end. Skies cock back in shock that which can't defend. The rain then sends dripping acidic questions, forcefully the power of suggestion.
So funny thing about this verse is actually I think most of the song, Mike Shinoda actually I think said in some interview that he needs like a lyric sheet for this during the live performances because he can't like memorize all these words
Really?
or something. Yeah, something about it. He just can't like have it memorized.
Hmm.
Which I don't blame him. This has got a lot of content, a lot of different things going on.
I can see that. And he's saying it so fast too.
Right.
Yeah, I wouldn't be able to do it either. Like the second line, skies cock back in shock that which can't defend. That one's
That's a
got to
tongue
be tough.
twister right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This guy's cock back at the shock. Blah, 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 blah,
Yeah.
blah, blah. Yeah, you can't do it.
So what-
I
go ahead.
sorry. I would just, as with all the other episodes, as I actually look at the lyrics and we start talking about this, I realize more stuff. I feel like this song is kind of Quentin Tarantino'd
How
in a
so?
way.
What do you mean by that?
Because the intro and well, I guess the chorus is the memory won't escape me, but why should I care? So it's like they've accepted it, but then in the first verse they're kind of explaining what they were going through. Like there's a place so dark you can't see the end, and shock that which can't defend.
So you're saying like the intro's like present day and then the verse
yeah,
is like 3 months before or something.
Yeah, it's like revisiting, kind of. They like get that first intro is, you know, how their problems
how he's getting
resolved.
over it, and then the
Yeah,
verse
and then
is
they go
him
back and
flashing
tell
back.
you. Yeah,
Yeah.
and the place so dark you can't see the end, I feel, is just like a perfect explanation of what depression is.
It's like
Going with our, mental illness theme.
Mhm.
right. Chester's just like,
Oh.
you know what? I'm a huge fan of Pulp Fiction. You know.
Yeah, right.
Quentin, what's up, my dude? Not only that with depression, but I dare say we're slowly getting into like suicidal tendencies
Mhm.
almost
the power
here.
of suggestion,
Yep.
Right.
acidic questions.
That's the part
Yep.
that I had underlined, was forcefully the power of suggestion. Suggestion to do what?
What? Yeah.
So
Which could also be, once again, another nod to schizophrenia, and it's just, I don't know. There's so much stuff going on in this album.
the one line that I still don't quite understand is, the rain then sends dripping acidic questions. I don't know how to unpack that line. Like, what are the acidic questions?
Maybe
Is it saying... Go ahead, Max.
Oh, I was just gonna think. I was thinking, like, what if it's about him, like the rain, as in like crying, about what he's going through, and then that
Yeah.
kind of makes, and then you know how you like after you cry, you kind of like reflect on what what was I emotional about?
Yeah, because the rain could be, just the sadness, the gloom, and then the acidic questions could just be things that you're asking over and over again, and they're just kind of eating away at you like acid does to anything.
Exactly. That's I think that's you guys are absolutely right. Like the acidic part of it specifically, like you said, Ryan, it eats away at you, and it wears you down, right? Like it's a
Yeah.
it slowly happens to you again. Yeah, it's very good. The whole like I like the imagery of possibly like the crying or the not getting over the stuff in the past or the memories,
Right.
You like that?
I like I don't like it. I don't like it specifically.
I know. I'm just giving you shit.
Is it one of those
I
days?
love it.
Is it crap on Zach day again?
Crap on that.
It's creeping towards that.
It's like every other day, so I'm not surprised.
I'm curious what you guys think about the next part, though.
Yeah, me too. Because I have some pretty deep notes.
The
All right.
with the eyes shut, looking through the rust and rotten dust. Like,
All right, yeah. I have them all up here, so let me read them quick here. I'll let you guys go first after I'm done too. So then, with the eyes shut, looking through the rust and rotten dust, a small spot of light floods the floor and pours over the rusted world of pretend, and the eyes ease open, and it's dark again. A lot
Max,
going on there.
Since you were so curious about it, I'll let you go, and then we'll see where it leads from there.
yeah, I mean, because I was curious what you guys got like imagery wise of it, because like with the eyes shut, looking through the rust and rotten dust, is that his own eyes or is he reflecting on someone else through his memory?
I think it's just like eyes shut, just kind of thinking things over, or maybe not intentionally thinking things over. Maybe with your eyes shut, you can't see anything in the outside world, so he's trying to look out through all those clogged memories. The rust and rotten dust could be, forgotten past, built up stuff, and he's trying to close his eyes and look through all that stuff and just be able to be in peace with his eyes closed.
Guys, okay, hear me out. So in that entire passage, he doesn't a single time say the word I, but all the other parts during which might be considered the present tense, he says I. So he's almost talking to himself in the third person as a different person.
Again, the schizophrenia
Yep.
comes back in full force
Yep.
here.
So when I'm hearing that now that I thought of that with the eyes shut, looking through the rust and rotten dust, it's like he's looking through himself as when he was a different person, and looking through the rust and rotten dust as in looking at like the bad aura, the bad space he was in, maybe.
Okay, so just reading this line by line and really thinking about it. So I think it's more of this second part of this verse is more of a story of a failed escape. So then with the eyes shut, looking through the rust and rot and dust, so he's trying real hard to close his eyes, put all of his strength together, and push those memories deep down and just relax. And then something either makes that strength break or reminds him of something, and a small spot of light floods the floor. So there's one tiny memory coming up that he noticed, and then it pours over the rusted world of pretend, and all those memories flood back in. He realizes he can't escape it, and the eyes ease open, and it's dark again. Means you're safe in your head, but as soon as you expose yourself to real life, everything starts all over.
Right.
Safe in your head. Yeah.
So you're saying do you think maybe it's a dream?
It could be, it could, or just like we talked about in previous episodes, when you try to go to sleep and just shut your brain off for the day. Looking through the rust and rotten dust could just be trying to find, 5 minutes of peace from thoughts.
Yeah. Or more specifically, a nightmare.
That too, yeah. I like the possibility he's asleep.
So
Yeah, I didn't even think about that.
my question to you guys is, what is the light in this case? Is that it? It seems like the light here is the trigger, right? Is it a memory? Is it a person?
That's what
Is
I'm
it a
thinking.
thing?
I'm thinking I think it's a trigger. It's one small memory or something that opens up just this whole Pandora's box
Mm-hmm.
and just floods everything back in. It could be that line could be the floodgates open, the pipes burst. Any metaphor for, one small pinhole unleashing a deluge.
Yeah, do you think maybe it's something that's like good, that's like you're saying, pouring over the rusted world, as in like, all right, this nightmare is being essentially eradicated from his head? Or do you think it's more of like the light is him kind of like about to wake up, and then when he wakes up he realizes that he's not happy even though he got out of that nightmare?
That actually that makes a lot more sense. Yeah.
I can't decide
think
which
that's
one it is though. That's the
I don't
thing.
know.
Mhm.
That's the thing. There's so many clues to both sides, but that really makes a whole lot of sense. Like, he's asleep.
I'm inclined to think that it's a little bit of both.
Yeah. So then, is looking through the rust and rotten dust, is that the dream kind of flipping through all the different thoughts in his head?
I think so. I think like the rust and rotten dust, the chain link fences, it's all painting like a picture of what it's, or at least what he thinks the inside of his head looks like, right? It's this weird kind of desolate place that, it's not nice, right? He recognizes this. It's not a good place to be. But
it's better than being awake.
yeah, at least to them, they feel that this is a good place to be, at least for the time, right? And again, this trigger, this small spot of light, and I want to bring up some of the metaphors we had before with the sun and the moon, and how that light imagery comes back again, even in this song. So I don't know. I don't know yet. I don't know if the light here is a memory, a person, a thing, or what it is, but it very clearly is coming back again, where it's reminding them of the real world. And I don't know if that's salvation or if it's bad, because again, that last line, the E's open and it's dark again. That doesn't seem much better to me at all. So
No.
I feel like we'll get more clues when we keep reading on.
All right, let's do that then.
Let's do that.
So the chorus here is from the top to the bottom to the top I stop, at the core I've forgotten, in the middle of my thoughts. Taken far from my safety, the picture is there, the memory won't escape me, but why should I care? And then in the memory you'll find me, eyes burning up, the darkness holding me tightly until the sun rises up.
The sun is back, baby.
Back the sun! Ryan, you look very inquisitive over there.
Brain blast.
You guys go. Just give me a second. I'm trying to
processing at all cores.
I'm trying to figure out what I'm actually thinking here.
Ryan's
The,
like
the
a
Mac scrolling wheel is happening right there.
he's like a Core i9, and he's just going.
Pegged.
Overclocked.
So
In the memory you'll find me, eyes burning up.
yeah, that's. I really didn't have a whole lot. It's such cool like imagery. Again, eyes burning up. You get light, you get fire. I don't know how to unpack it as far as if that actually means something. I just think it kind of further adds on to the whole light and dark metaphor.
I think it adds a little bit to that, but I think it's just a simple metaphor to him again reflecting on the memories and how maybe that. Well, I'm making this not simple at all. When he's reflecting on the bad memories, how that entails his nightmares. So when your eyes burn up, it's kind of usually a side effect of crying. Your eyes get all like red and shit. And then the darkness, keeps surrounding him. And then until maybe the darkness could be the nightmare until the sun rises up, when he wakes up. But I could maybe misinterpret this.
Mm, it also kind of contradicts the last couple lines that we were talking about, though, too, where the like that spot of light, you know, the line, the eyes ease open and it's dark again. So like this is saying the darkness is holding them tightly in their current space, but then until the sun rises up, almost like it helps take it away. So, and I'm just confused even further now.
Well,
at
I
this
mean,
point.
it's just a vicious cycle. I mean,
Yeah. Okay.
depression is just it's this is day by day. I feel like this song is day by day. So he wakes up and deals with the day, goes back to bed, wakes up, deals with the day. I am trying for the life of me to figure out what in the memory you'll find me eyes burning up. I don't think he's talking about physical eyes, obviously. I believe it's his mind's eyes. But in the memory you'll find me, who's he telling that to?
I think himself.
Is he trying to is he talking to himself? Are we hearing from the second personality at this point?
I feel like
Is
this
this
is
is
it's
Go ahead.
got to be the, like you were saying, the vicious cycle, I think, of someone who's depressed and him telling himself, you know, because I think when you I don't think I necessarily have depression. I think this might be a sensitive topic, but I feel like most people, when they have that you know, point of brain activity happening, that they might turn into someone that is different than maybe someone that you know normally, maybe you could say. So I feel like maybe he's talking to himself to console his emotions.
Yeah. Like
maybe?
think back to happy memories. That's the real you. Don't listen to what's going on right now.
Yeah.
But then what
So-
does eyes burning up mean? I mean,
Like I said, I think that might just
I
be
don't know.
him talking about how you know his eyes are
he's viewing everything and it's
red.
painful. Yeah.
Right, exactly. And then the
I
sun,
think-
maybe the sun rising up is him getting out of his his depression. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know, but that's how I'm interpreting it.
My note on that was I think it means you're stuck in your head until you find the ability to rise above it. Like the sun rising up is you overcoming that darkness and, finally pushing it behind, even if it's just for the day or a couple of hours or what have you.
I totally agree with you, Ryan.
So, and I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't even know what I mean.
I agree. So like the note that I have here is so I said perhaps the sun is the single spot of light that keeps the singer going in this case. So like again, like you said, it's them overcoming these internal demons and these things going on inside of them. Even if it's only for a day or even a moment in this case, it's still
Right.
It's still something, I guess, quote unquote good for them.
What really keeps screwing with me as we do this whole episode, all the parts, is there's so many things that could be taken both literally and metaphorically at the same time, or like figuratively, or however you want to put it. I mean, there's so many things that they don't mean what they mean, but they might, but they might not.
I'm gonna scramble your brain for a second. What if the sun is his potential love interest, and the sun is the one that is protecting him from his own depression?
Okay, we're gonna need an episode 5 for the last 2 songs.
Yeah, that's the lens
That's
that I've had
possible.
this whole time. That's what I keep thinking, and you guys keep like presenting viewpoints that make me think otherwise. I keep thinking that the sun is like the lover or whoever it is that's like their rock, but I could also see how it's not at the same time.
Like the spot of light that floods the floor and pours over the rest of the world, that could be his girlfriend waking him up from a nightmare.
So now that you bring that up, is this whole song about how depression and mental illness could just destroy your relationship? Like, is this whole thing that we're in part of? Is the whole thing just his realization that something's going wrong and trying to scramble everything together?
Could be.
I never thought about that until now. Like this whole thing could be a mental decay, or it could be a relationship decay. I quit. I'm going to bed. I'm tired.
It's enough brain activity for the day.
That's what I like
have to
about this
interact with my
album so
family.
much, though. I mean,
I know.
it's you have all this different imagery going on, but we're never straight out told which way is the right way to think about it.
Bro, we're
Right.
half an hour in and we haven't even gotten through the bridge yet. of the
Well,
first
the next
song.
song's gonna be
yikes.
short.
Is
so
it though?
I don't know. But just a side note, the depth that we're going to with these songs for this first episode, like the inaugural part of this idea, makes me extremely excited for the rest of the season. Just a little aside.
Yeah, it's gonna be nuts. It's gonna be nuts. Our level of like appreciation and understanding is gonna be at an all-time high, and it's just like we said when we first started this. I mean, we like this music to begin with, but now that we've gone so deep into it, it's just a whole new level of appreciation at this point.
Like we're essentially ascending to the 1 percentile of people that listen to music. Because everyone that listens to the radio is like, ooh, this is a catchy melody. And then we're
Right.
here like, the sun represents a girl.
Yeah, right.
Brain blast.
and he's
Brain.
depressed.
Oh.
Yeah, big
And
brain
my-
thoughts.
My hope is that this kind of bleeds into our listeners. I mean, I hope we open people's eyes as far as what you can actually find in songs if you take some time and just really listen.
Mhm.
I just hope that like anyone that is listening to what we have to say and what we have to what we interpret these songs, you know, you're kind of like unintentionally nodding your head like, oh yeah, I've heard that song and now it kind of makes sense.
Right.
At the very least, I hope it at least inspires the people listening to think about the music that they consume a little bit more critically. You know, just think
Yeah.
about what is actually being said. It's one thing to appreciate the music side of things, but then also like great lyrical content and using them both together. It's just, I
Right.
don't know. I think it's kind of a scarce resource these days.
Because when they wrote these songs and put all this thought and hidden meaning into them, they didn't want people to just go, all right, cool, next song. Like it was written to be. It was written for people to do what we're doing right now. I feel.
hmm I think that that's probably what they intended from the start, but and like most things, usually never goes according to plan, right? Something
Right.
And I think because even though you could argue, I mean, I think Meteoro was a pretty close representation of a part 2 to Hybrid Theory. You got to realize how much work and effort they put into creating the lyrics and the music to it. That
Right.
how could you make essentially a part 3 or a third album that sounds like this? Because everyone keeps arguing, oh, Linkin Park's not the same. You know, only the first 2 albums were real Linkin Park. Like,
Yeah.
no, it's just if you keep doing the same stuff over and over again, it really loses its
Yeah.
meaning.
It's
just
like
it's
like
what,
building
then?
building an entire house in a day and then not having anything left to do, and then you have to just.
It's like
I don't know.
writing a
There's
book.
nothing to work towards.
It's like writing a book. You can't write the same words and expect people to enjoy
Right.
it. You know, like, oh,
That's
I
like-
already read this.
That's like if Leonardo da Vinci would have painted the same painting except changed one tiny thing each time he did it.
Hey, it's a different painting.
Hey,
Hey, oh, hey.
painting the Mona Lisa over here. Hey.
Babadi boop.
That's exactly how Da Vinci sounded, by the way.
Gonna open up a nice glass of red wine. Talk to Jimmy the Fish.
I'm
Gonna
gonna
have a good
drink.
time.
I'm gonna drink my Pinot Gris over here and paint.
You come to.
This is the Mona Leslie over here.
Mona Leslie. Oh boy, man, this episode took a turn, man.
Oh man. All right. We gotta
Where
move
were we?
along here.
Where
going
were we? Hold on.
I think we
Verse
should. I
2.
think we should go to the bridge because I feel
Yeah.
like the rest of the lyrics are kind of repetitive.
Kind of the same,
Kind of
saying the
repeating
same
the same
thing in a
thoughts.
different way.
Yeah.
hold on. I got one thing to add here that
Okay.
kind of echoes what we talked about at the very beginning. So, it's right after the next verse. It goes into a little piece of paper with a picture drawn floats on down the street till the wind is gone, and the memory now is like the picture was then. When the paper's crumpled up, it can't be perfect again.
I do like that last line. though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, me too.
So I wanted to stop and point that out because I think that is probably my favorite line on the entire album. Just because I think it really sums up kind of the overall message that's going on here is that not only are they struggling with all these inner demons, but the different memories and experiences that they've had have changed them so much so that they're no longer like they used to be. And using like the paper, I guess, is a really great metaphor here. So I just wanted to stop and appreciate that.
I think again this relates to more of a relationship issue where you think about perhaps like an ex-girlfriend that you might have had, and you think about when you're in the relationship how the good times have been really good, and then once you break up they kind of taint the integrity of those. You think, oh, this was a great memory, but now that I know about it in this way because I don't like this person, it's not really great anymore.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Makes sense.
Yeah, I get it.
It's kind of like I wish I didn't know now what I didn't know then.
Yeah, or just thinking about a certain memory that you used to think fondly of, but you don't anymore because
Right.
you're not fond of that person.
Now you're just somebody that I
used
used to
know.
I don't remember that Linkin Park song.
It's a real great
Cover
song.
coming next Tuesday. Yep.
Are we ready for the bridge, gentlemen?
Yeah,
I'd say.
I think so.
You're talking about now you got me caught in the act, right? That's what you're
Yep.
talking about?
Now you're
Yep.
bringing that thought back.
Telling you that I see it right through you. Well done. Well done,
This,
sir.
this should not be funny.
So for those of you who didn't catch that, it's now you got me caught in the act. You bring the thought back, telling you that I see it right through you.
Looks like it repeats.
Over and over and over
Seven
and over.
times. 7 times, as a matter of fact.
And the way that he presents the phrasing of lyrics, it doesn't like sound repetitive. It is repetitive, but it's like very.
It like builds in intensity.
Yeah.
Like he's just
Yeah.
kind of throwing it out there at first, and then at the end, it's like it's almost like somebody who's just like angrily punching the wall. is what
Right,
it
because
feels
it's
like to me.
soft. The first 4, I think, are soft, and then they go bring in the guitar because he whispers, "Now you got me caught in the act," and then it goes, "But you bring the thought back," and then all the guitars and stuff come in, and in the background while Mike is rapping it, Chester is kind of doing like a harmony to it, like not with the lyrics, but he's doing the like a ooh, and like it kind of helps bring the power to it. The build, makes it build up even higher.
Yeah, it's like it's all building up towards one point, right?
Right.
Let's see. Yeah, and it just highlights more of that like frustration, I think, more than anything. Like we were saying at the very beginning, they recognize that they're just in this total crapshoot of a situation, and they're upset and they're dealing with it. But it's like, all right, we're moving on. We're doing something. Just like
Right.
we're trying to get over it the best that we can.
Yeah, and in this part, he is, he's saying you, as in probably referencing the love interest, and he's saying I a lot. So it's definitely that present tense that we were talking about earlier.
Yeah. Again, showing that like that other love interest or that person, it's bringing up bad memories of the past that they probably don't want to deal with anymore. And also like the last line telling you that I see it right through you. You know, they can see through the, you know, kind of facade that they've put up at this point. Forgot what song that was, but last part we were talking about how you know, they kind of like ran away from their, it was in Runaway, as a matter of fact. They ran away from their problems, but then they found this other person that kind of came back to them after everything had happened. And they put on this, like, again, this facade trying to get something from them. The line, the sun doesn't give to the light, or the sun doesn't give light to the moon, assuming that the moon's going to owe it one. That, I think that's kind of the facade that we're seeing here. You know, they're putting on a face.
Right.
That's
Yeah. Yep.
All right. Cool. Yeah.
Cracking the puzzles over here, Zach.
Right.
Big brain. 300 IQ.
I feel like we'd escape an escape room like the second we walked in the door. It's just done.
They're fun, man. They're fun. We did an escape room in Kentucky when we went to go visit our old roommate.
Nice.
We were close to solving it the fastest that anyone's ever solved it.
What
Wow.
do you have to do to just like, do you solve problems or do you solve puzzles or?
It's mostly like
Yes.
riddles and puzzles. Yeah.
Okay.
It's just like, depending on where you go, some places do it where you're all in like one room and you have to, it's kind of like just solving like a multi-step puzzle where you got to do this one thing so that you can get a key to open this box that'll give you the key to the next clue, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Sometimes it's in like multiple rooms to make it a little easier to unpack so you don't get confused, but it's more or less the same thing.
Right.
Just
Okay,
with like
that makes
different
sense.
themes. So, yeah. The hardest part usually is just getting started. It's like, okay, what's the one thing I need to go down this rabbit hole of clues so I can get out of here?
Right. An idea for a podcast season. That's all you need to go down this rabbit hole we're in.
Oh boy. Will we ever escape?
No.
Nope.
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 I think that's just about all for Forgotten.
Forgotten, yeah.
The final note I wanted to bring up was the last line of they say until the sun rises up, and it's like a very nice, light, airy, kind of like uplifting way to end the song.
Yeah.
Even though it's really like heavy and kind of depressing, but it still
It almost
ends nicely.
makes me feel like either the sun rose up and they overcame it, or the sun rising up was suicide.
Ooh, yikes. That would not be good.
I don't know.
No.
That's just kind of the feeling I get. I don't know.
I think the bridge is just him like getting so worked up to a point where he gets very, very like he can't control his own emotions. You know
Yep,
how like
that's
when you
what I
get
get,
really,
too.
really upset about something, so you keep telling yourself the same thing and you can't get over something, and then once you find someone or something in solace, you kind of just like make it work. And I think that's when the until the sun rises up, that's just him realizing, all right, it's fine. I'm over it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's kind of been the whole mentality, the whole song. It's like, all right, I'm done. I'm over it. Let's move on.
Because I think that final until the sun rises up, I think that's him finally. Like he keeps telling himself that he's over it, but I think that last one is he's like, all right,
This is
done. This is it. Yeah,
All right.
I think
Yeah,
that's
I agree.
another like music and lyrical connection. You know, where the actual tone of the lyric that's being delivered is more of a message than the lyric itself.
Agreed.
Yeah.
I got nothing else to add, my guys.
I think we're done with
Nope.
Forgotten.
I think so. I think we can forget it.
That was
Atabooey.
The cringe.
all right. Cool. If we're done with that, then let's move on to arguably the best song on the whole album, right, guys?
Yeah,
What?
sure. Yep.
All right. Song numero 11. Cure for the Itch.
I'd like to introduce.
Let's hear it for the great Mr. Han.
And now for a lesson in rhythm management. Let's begin. All right now, wasn't that fun? Let's try something else.
Okay, bitch.
Oof.
I think like we
Oh no.
Oh, he's cut out again.
He's gone. No. Nope. Nope.
test 1 2.
Hey,
Check 1 2.
there he is.
Check 1 2.
You did it
I
again.
don't know.
You
know why
Houdini'd
that
your
keeps
audio
happening.
out of here.
I'm gonna use the other USB port next time. I don't know what you heard of that, but I feel like it's
Or nothing.
like we discussed before. It's kind of just a showcase for the DJ abilities, just to say, hey, we're not only rappers and rock artists, but we also have this dude who can do this.
Is it though? Is it really just a showcase?
I don't know. I honestly, I'll be completely honest with you. I only have one note for this song.
Okay, what is it?
It's not even a note. I just asked if they had an infection that's giving them an itch.
Oh, come on now.
that was all I had.
That's nasty. Max, did you have anything for this one?
Not really. I mean, I really wrote some generic notes that I'm not even gonna read. But there is one thing I did write on here. I said "Cure for the Itch" could be a somewhat corny synonym for wanting to scratch like a record, or less corny and deep, perhaps relating to drugs, as people on certain withdrawals find their skin to be itchy while suffering through them.
Bingo bango, my guy.
Whatever, Max, making me look like an idiot.
So I agree with the latter part of your statement, Max. I think
Yeah.
that this so again, we got to go back to the story, right? That's being told. All this different stuff that's going on. In the last song, we were talking about how they've kind of accepted the situation that they're in and they're going to move on. But Cure for the Itch now, in this overall overarching narrative, in my opinion, was them basically taking drugs. One, multiple, I don't know. Them taking drugs to get over all these problems and become numb to everything. Because it's the way that the song plays out, it's all very different, like, styles, I guess. Even though it is a showcase for Mr. Han, in this case, the DJ.
Right, yeah.
It's very much a showcase for him, but I think it also furthers the narrative of them getting over things by taking drugs.
So you want to hear another thing about relating to drugs? That last line, all right now, wasn't that fun? Let's try something else. Let's try other drugs.
And then,
You know, oh, I like that. Let's go try crack or something, you know?
indirectly after that line too, it's like very like floaty and kind of like gracefully like moving
Yeah.
back and forth, like they're lost in some kind of like weird drug-induced fever dream and they're just kind of
So, like
their
it-
minds off, you know?
Started with crack and then it's acid or weed or whatever, you know. There's like a real upper and then kind of a
Booting
mellow out.
some black tar over there.
Yeah, right,
some
yeah.
Sweet black tar heroin.
Where my cell at?
Hey, where Marcel at? Only the real ones know.
Boy. That that was really all I had for this song. Is that
Yeah.
it felt like a drug induced like coma or dream to me. That's what I got from this song.
Yeah, I could get down with that.
There's no lyrics to unpack either. Besides,
No.
let's hear it for the great Mr. Han.
Yep.
And wasn't that fun?
Well, let's try something else.
Anything else you guys got to add? But
Oh,
yes.
now for a lesson in rhythm management. Is that like pacing yourself and not taking all the drugs at one time, or?
Or trying to disguise yourself from looking high.
Mm, mm, mm.
You got to manage it.
Yeah.
Let other people know.
Got to make sure your
Right.
piss test comes clean.
It's true. Can't be driving forklifts high.
You
or-
really can't. You really can't.
Otherwise, you'll end up as one of those like
You-
CCTV.
even though some people do, though. I know some people that do.
I'm sure they do. Just knock down like a whole aisle of shelves with whatever is on them.
You've probably seen videos of people just like, oh, I'm just doing my thing, and then one fork hits one of the rackings, and I swear some people just don't like drill their racking in the concrete. Like, oh, the weight will just keep it down.
Mm-hmm.
OSHA's just like, wait, you said what?
Come again?
Come again? Is this thing on?
Right.
So, quick fun fact: I recently got to take a tour of the warehouse that my company that I work for uses. They have wires in the concrete in the floor to help guide the forklifts. So our aisles that all the product is held in are like extra narrow so that we can fit even more in the warehouse. But because of that, they don't take any chances when the forklifts are going through it, and they have to be like following that wire. There's like a little signal that helps guide them through so that doesn't happen.
That seems smart, but I'm curious. I would have to actually do it to see what that's like.
It's kind of cool. I saw a couple of people, but it's almost like a Tesla autopilot, but for a forklift, basically. I don't know. Just quick little note that I thought was kind of cool.
I feel like that would take the fun out of if there is any really fun driving forklifts.
The impending doom of destroying the whole warehouse just keeps it real, keeps you on your
Right.
toes.
Right. Yeah. Keeps you in suspense.
That kind of failure that would definitely push me away from some kind of job like that.
Oh, here we go.
Oh, I wrote a segue once.
All right.
Yeah. So I guess that brings us to the final song of the album.
The final song. Excellent. All right, guys.
Excellent.
It's all been building up to this. We're on to track number 12, Pushing Me Away.
I've lied to you the same way that I always do. This is the last smile that I'll fake for the sake of being with you.
Everything falls apart, even the people who never frown eventually break down.
The sacrifice of parting in the light.
Everything has to end, you'll soon find we're out of time left to watch it all
The
unwind.
sacrifice is never knowing why I never walked away, why I played myself this way. Now I see you're testing me, pushes me away. Why I never walked away, why I played myself this way. Now I see you're testing me, pushes me away. I've tried like you to do everything.
I wonder, now that we've gone through all of these songs, I really wonder where this fits in the story. Honestly.
Yeah, how does this song fit into the overarching narrative? What's being said here?
Yeah, right. I mean, I I feel like it could have gone before Forgotten, but maybe not. I just feel like it's the realization that things are over, but not under your power.
Hmm. They're finally taking some agency or like responsibility for their own actions,
Mhm.
maybe.
Yeah.
Agree. Max,
It's like-
thoughts?
I I guess I kind of agree. I do think it kind of fits in the. I don't want to necessarily say canon, but I think this does come right after Forgotten, as in like, he's still in that love interest relationship that he was in, but now he's kind of figuring out that, I think that toxic thing he was having wasn't working out for him.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I was just gonna say, do you have like a description or like a overarching thought about this in your notes?
Let's see here. Go. No,
I guess I'll say
no, I don't.
interesting.
Yikes.
So
Okay.
so I said seems like the main character is having some untruths to be with this person and has been faking his own emotions and finds himself deep in his own problems and realizes he should have walked away from it a long time ago.
Yeah, a lot of the same emotions that came across in Runaway. Where
Right.
walk or run away from the issues. It was like with Runaway, it was more of a overarching or like general sense of I need to get away from my problems, whether it was in like their friend group or just their everyday life. But now we're delving into like their sanctuary or their savior, the sun again, or like this other person that they've kind of turned to and realize that even now they don't want to be with this person and they're taking responsibility for that yet again. Let's read a couple of the lyrics here. Starts out with, and this is like slower too, so it's I've lied to you the same way that I always do. This is the last smile that I'll fake for the sake of being with you. So, like you said, Max, they're donezo at this point. No mas.
Right, they're done playing around.
Yeah. But at the same time, I feel like they're kind of in denial as well.
Denial about what?
Just that things are falling apart and that it's time to leave. I mean, I don't know.
But when they say I've lied to you the same way that I always do, is that
No, I suppose. Yeah, I don't know.
because that's my question. Is that the denial of what they've done so far, or is it the denial of who they're with and the decisions that they've made thus far? Because that's kind of what like I'm trying to suss out here is
Yeah. I mean, I'll fake for the last smile that I'll fake for the sake of being with you, maybe is like denial that this may not have been going well for quite some time. I don't know, kind of a refusal to accept that this is a long time coming.
mm-hmm. And I'll bring it back around to the like figurative meaning that you were discussing before, Ryan, with like the schizophrenia and the different person inside of them. It could be interpreted two ways of is it like being with the actual person that they're with, or is it the like the inner demon that they're been living with their whole life, or at least through this album at this point. Are they
Right.
done listening to that person or trying to go back to that every time things go wrong? Both.
Yeah,
Both
it
maybe.
is. Yeah, right. Yeah, I don't know. This whole thing's just messing with my head, dude.
That's the great part about this. We've kind of reached the point again, like we said before. we're not told which way we're supposed to interpret this, and we're left to kind of
Right.
just figure it out for ourselves, which is, I think that's a really good part about it. Don't need to be
Right.
spoon-fed everything.
Yeah, how
No.
boring would it be if they're like, yeah, this is the meaning. All right,
Right.
episode over.
Yeah. We could have such great, lyrical content like parking Mack trucks in little garages, and that's what we have to go off of.
Little garage.
Right.
And lots to unpack there, but
Certified freak. 7 days a week.
yeah, as far as like notes go with the song, I didn't really have a whole lot. I really just kind of summed it up to, this is the final part of this epic story, or I guess narrative that we've been taken on as a listener, right? And
Right.
they've decided that they're done, they're going to move on, but the future is really quite uncertain still. So let's keep reading some of the lyrics here. See if we can kind of suss out what's going on. So we've got everything falls apart. Even the people who never frown eventually break down. The sacrifice of hiding in a lie. Everything has to end. You'll soon find we're out of time left to watch it all unwind. The sacrifice is never knowing. A lot going on there. Any notes from you guys?
I
guess let me ask this. Do you guys have any like specific points that you want to talk about here? Or
Not necessarily. I feel like the whole song is kind of basically the same progression we've dealt with before. I kind of got my points out at the beginning.
right.
I feel like
So-
this song is a summary of most of the feelings throughout the album.
Yeah. It's kind of a synopsis of where everything ended up.
Yeah, that's, in a way our thoughts kind of mimic like how the songs are actually told too, where it's like the beginning kind of paints that picture and what the song is going to be about, but then it gets repetitive, right? And
Right.
we're at the very end now. So maybe this is kind of the repetition, but it's also the capstone to it though, where they're saying
Right.
again, it was kind of the last two songs of making a decision, done with what's going on, but again, got to move on.
Right. You said something about this kind of being the end cap.
Yeah, the capstone to the whole.
Yeah, capstone, yeah. I find it interesting that the bridge says, "We're all out of time. This is how we find how it all unwinds." And then the sacrifice of hiding in a lie. It's kind of the realization that this really is the end of this entire struggle. And we're now coming to the realization of how we're being torn apart, or how, my mental struggle unwinds, unfolds, goes back to some sort of normalcy. And the sacrifice of hiding in a lie, I think, is like what all got thrown away. What did I miss? Who did I push away just to deny that I had a problem instead of admitting it and solving said problem?
Mm-hmm. They lied about where they were just to kind of deal with things, it seems.
Right. Yeah. And pretended that they were okay when people came up to them, and in reality, they were struggling to hold it together, and that may have distanced some people.
Mm-hmm. And then to take it a step further too, the final part of that, the sacrifice is never knowing, where, as we discussed before, they've made a decision, right? But they won't ever know if it was the right decision, I guess.
Right.
Was it really the right thing to do for themselves? How did these actions or decisions affect the other people around them? And they're never really going to know. There's this level of ambiguity that's left at the very end of everything.
Ambiguity.
Yep, that was on the back of my cereal box. That's the word of the day.
So all those years of college paid off for. Big words.
Yep, thousands of dollars all led up to ambiguity.
Well,
Thanks, school. Did it.
oh my god.
No, it totally sums up this whole album. Like we were saying at the beginning of this episode, we have different levels of metaphorical and literal meanings going on, have all these different narrative options that are being told. And I really think this is a good way to end the album overall, where we really don't know. And sacrifice is never knowing. We will not know whether things were meant to be interpreted figuratively or literally. We don't know if what the whole sun, light, moon metaphor is supposed to mean. We're not going to know if things ever really worked out. But the important part is that they told the story, right? Sometimes the story itself can be more important than the overall meaning, right? Maybe just documenting it and recognizing that it happened, acknowledgement of it.
Yeah. I don't know if I had a thought there or not.
It looked like you had a thought.
I did, but I'm trying to figure out if it actually means it. I don't know. I feel like this whole album, now knowing the end of the song, it could just be like a recollection after they seeked help. Like it could just be them relaying it to a therapist or just somebody that's close to them that they can kind of unload on.
Mm-hmm. It does seem to have like a kind of in retrospect kind of, I don't know.
Like I mentioned with Forgotten, with the Quentin Tarantino, like they gave you the resolution first and then what led up to that resolution.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because a lot of the songs have different time frames proposed in them. So it does make sense.
And different parties.
Yep. Different
Maybe
parties,
it's a third party account of this whole struggle relayed to somebody else.
Ooh, yeah. Oh, dude, that even opens it up further of, if it really is a third party recount of what happened, how accurate is what they're saying at this point? Is this really how things went down?
Yeah. And I mean, the last line of pushing me away is, now I see you're testing me, pushes me away. So is it at the end they escape from it and then come to some realization after talking through it that they weren't the problem? They were being egged on. They were being, You see where I'm coming from? It might not make sense. I don't know exactly how to say it, but you see kind of...
Yeah, I'm trying to unpack exactly what you said. Can you say it one more time? I'm sorry.
Like, now I see you're testing me, pushes me away. So like they realizing that like it was a toxic relationship to begin with, or the person they were with was just in it to mentally destroy them somehow, get some sort of satisfaction out of tearing another person down. Like they're realizing that they were driven to insanity and finally decided to leave, but it was through the process of getting mentally just exhausted.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's kind of like, that's their viewpoint that they've been saying the whole time, is that all these different actions from other people have been affecting them real negatively, right? But we never know what the other person's motives are.
Yeah, we're reading it as this person's just gradually going crazy. But what if there's an outside perspective to all these lyrics?
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Who's the unbiased third party in this case? Who's the person that actually saw all this go down that could maybe shed some truth or some light on the situation, right?
Right, yeah.
The whole light metaphor.
Back to the shedding light, yeah. I don't know. It's weird, the things that you uncover by uncovering other things. Like this, I don't know. This whole part has been, this whole episode has just been digging and finding more stuff underneath.
Mm-hmm.
And I definitely
Indeed.
was not expecting that. I'll tell you that. I was not. I was expecting to just have our notes and kind of have all of our own opinions on everything instead of just building.
Very neat,
It-
right?
it-
Tidy, orderly.
It's like,
Mm-hmm.
these are my thoughts. Those are your thoughts. Next track. We get through the
Yeah.
whole album in one part.
Yeah, we'll
Yeah,
get
right.
this. We'll get this wrapped up in about an hour, I think. Right?
Yeah, I don't know. I had a lot of fun with this episode, that's for sure.
I did too. I had a lot of fun.
For sure.
I'm kind of sad that it's the last song of the album and the last part of part 4, but now on to the next one.
So, with that being said, gentlemen, do we want to final thoughts? I want to hear your final thoughts on the album. What did you learn? What are you questioning? Anything?
Everything.
Just I want to hear it all. Let's each give our own thoughts, and we'll end it there, and then we'll go into our rankings. How about that?
I definitely, one thing that I learned, which we addressed briefly before, is don't just listen to songs. I don't know that I'll ever listen to a song the same ever again after this episode. You know, on discovering how you guys saw things, what the actual meaning is. It's incredible to me how an album that I've been listening to pretty much my entire life never meant anything beyond, oh, these are really cool songs to me until now.
Right?
You know, when you're actually given the task to delve into something, you never know what you're going to find because you get interested and intrigued and then research that fact that leads to another fact.
they piqued your interest with cool music, and then you went a step further and you opened up a whole new world of
Right?
musical appreciation. Sounds like.
It's crazy. I'm very glad that we did this overall.
Me too. Me too. One thing that I learned from reviewing this album is just it was almost educational in a sense, where hearing about the different like mental struggles that the singer, or I guess the band in this case, had was really eye-opening to me personally, just because I mean, thankfully I don't feel like I deal with some of that stuff nearly as much as other people do. So it was very eye-opening to me just to hear these different kinds of emotions and thought processes and how someone can view a situation totally differently on the inside. You know, how someone could have two different worlds in their head, where one is what they see and what they talk to themselves about, and then the other one is reality. And that kind of,
Right.
you know, that kind of contrast is something that I never consider something like that in my everyday life, talking to people. But to hear that come through in this album and in the lyrics and each and every song, it was a really cool new perspective on life, at least for me personally. So,
It makes you wonder what people are actually going through,
yeah,
you know?
everybody is different, man. Everybody is different. You can never really know what is going on.
Yeah. Crazy.
Max, what were your final thoughts? Or do you have any?
I guess one thing that's been kind of going through my head, I think throughout the whole, mostly this episode, this part, but it's like you gotta think, like I don't personally think most of the pop songs right now have a lot more meaning than what's on the surface, but I think a lot of songs in this era, and I think even a little bit beyond and before it, have so much deeper meaning inside that if you either like or dislike a song, I think it's always good to always question it and always think, okay, well, I like the song and I know some of the lyrics, but like I want to understand why. Maybe if you don't like something and you're like, why do people like the song so much? Maybe look into it and look and see why there might be something deeper beyond that that you're not aware of. And I think this album is kind of the other way, where I really like it, but as you said before, you appreciate even more now because of all these interpretations and all these meanings behind it.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
It seems that what you're, correct me if I'm wrong, Max, but it seems like you're saying that music now is more superficial, or like people like it at face value rather than looking at the
It's-
deeper meaning behind things.
It's easier to see it at face value, or it's harder to find deeper meaning because there is none. It's very literal and very easy to understand, so it doesn't give you a lot of intellectual space to find more content behind it.
It sells.
Yes, it
makes
sells
money.
money.
Right.
Sadly.
It gets on the Billboard top 10, you know?
Mhm.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. As unfortunate as that is, I think it's the truth, though. It is the truth.
Right. And that's the sad part, but I mean, you got to appreciate the stuff that's already out there that you haven't listened to, or you have, and reflect on it and appreciate appreciate it again, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I'm curious if there'll be like some kind of musical renaissance, or like just a change in how music is made in the near future. Dude, yeah, I hope so too. Like, again, like you said, Max, it seems very like just surface level or skin deep at this point.
Mhm.
And I think that only gets you so far. And a lot of like, I'll use this album as example. So with like new metal at the turn of the century, you had people that were really like engrossed or like really appreciative of this kind of music. But what set Linkin Park apart from everybody else that was in the same genre, not only was the fact that they mixed rap and rock together, but also the emotion behind their lyrics, I think.
Mhm. Yeah.
I guess in our research for this, everything that I saw pointed to the fact that they were deliberate with their lyrics and how they chose to make these songs. And that's why, at least at the time, it set them apart. So they had good sound and they had good lyrical content. You know, they had the whole package, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I think their deck was definitely in their favor, but I think it's not like they were really handed it to them. I think they just had everything planned out and they had the talent behind them to make something as great as Hybrid Theory.
Mm-hmm. Couldn't have said it better myself.
I agree.
Are we ready for our rankings, boys?
I got the tab open. I'm waiting for you to unblock that stuff.
All right, here. So this is one of the reasons why you should subscribe and watch us on YouTube. We're going to open up an Excel document here where the three of us ranked each song on Hybrid Theory according to what we like. So 1 being the best and 12 being the worst. And we each have our own individual rankings, but then we have an overall ranking as well where I just added each of our 3 rankings up, and then we can sort and see which one came out on top. So I'm going to switch over a recording to, fancy new layout. Ooh, I like it.
Appreciate your own stuff. Oh.
All right. Okay.
I think also being I wouldn't say 12. I don't think there's really a worst song. I think we all know which one is the least best. But I think I think every song essentially is a banger. I think every song has
I agree.
some good stuff to it.
As
we all
like you
discussed.
said, there's not a bad song. It's just I love the whole album. It's just which one had the most meaning, really.
Yeah. All right, so I've got it up here. I've got it. We're good to go. We got all 3 of us. We got the Excel sheet. What do you guys want to see first? Do you want to go through individual rankings first? Do you want to see the overall rankings and go from there? What do you think?
Should we just go left to right?
Works
We
for me.
could. Yeah.
All right, Ryan, you're up first then. We're gonna
All
grill.
right.
We're gonna grill you.
I don't remember, so I'll probably grill myself after breaking everything down.
I know it's been like a month at this point, so
Yeah.
Hold on. I gotta. Oh, hold on. Okay, there we go. All right. And.
Oh, really? One step closer
Interesting.
was number one. Huh?
Ooh. Crawling came in at number 2.
Yeah.
Interesting.
One step closer is a good choice, though. I like
It
that.
is.
I like that.
I feel like I may have. I don't know. Just the intro has always gotten me. That's always been my favorite part of the song. So I
Hmm.
like that real chunky, half palm muted guitar, and then just the build up into everything else.
I'm gonna refresh my memory. Oh yeah,
At-
I cannot take this anymore.
Yeah.
Jin, 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 jin. And then it goes into the actual chords. Ba-na-na-na-na. I'm surprised though. You have. I guess we'll find out what my rankings are, but I was just gonna say mine are
Yeah, right.
very, very different. I wouldn't say too far off, but I did make some changes. Spoiler alert.
I honestly don't. I'm trying to remember why I ranked every song the way I did, but like you said, Zach, it was a month ago, and going through everything now, I feel like had we ranked the songs now again after doing the final episode, would my numbers have changed?
So you
because of the
put-
realization.
You put In the End towards 7. How come?
Kind of
Uh,
middle of the road, or
Middle of the
arguably
road, because it's
the most popular song.
Right.
yeah, it's just because I feel like even though it's still a good song, I still like it. It's lost some of its significance slash I don't know. Just I've heard it so many times that it's not new anymore. Like
If it wasn't overplayed and ruined by abundant
Yeah,
radio playage.
it's radio play, yeah. Like they're like, oh,
Overplayage
here's
is a
the
word, but
here's In the End, the hit from Linkin Park. Well, there's a whole other 11 songs on the album that are just as good, if not better, than this thing that you just beat the crap out of on the radio.
Yeah,
Like if you ask somebody if they know Linkin Park, they know In the End and Numb, and probably
maybe Crawling, I would say.
yeah, and maybe something off of one of their more recent albums. But
Max, I don't know if that was Max or if it was you, Ryan. One of you guys were saying this was a while ago. You're like, whatever song they play on the radio for a band, it's usually not the best song from that
Yeah.
band. Was that
Yeah,
you, Ryan?
yeah, most likely.
Okay.
I've said that to many people. And the other thing that bugs me is they say, "Oh, here's the new one from so and so," when I've had the album for like 3 or 4 months.
Yeah,
you know,
it's not.
I remember that specifically from like Revolution Radio. Like, it's not their best album, of course, but it's like, here's this new track from Revolution Radio. I'm like, bro, that came out a year ago. Like, I get
Right.
Green Day doesn't release new stuff that often, but come on, bro.
I don't know if yeah, I mean, it's definitely not usually the best song on the album. I feel like they picked the catchiest song on the album, like
Exactly.
the easiest to like dance to or bob your head to, or
the one
the
that's
one with
most,
the least amount of lyrics.
the one that you can memorize the quickest is what they play.
Yeah. Yeah, because it gets in people's heads because it's not complex. Like
Oh,
you'll never hear a Tool song.
You barely hear Rush songs on the radio.
I
either.
know.
Again, I keep going back to Rush. I've been listening to a lot of Rush lately, all right?
Yeah, it makes me wonder, why do you think, I guess,
faulting you?
talking about Rush, why do you think Tom Sawyer is their most popular song?
Because it's got synths. I don't know.
Like, that's the thing, is like you think most radio hits are because there's so many either hard-hitting lyrics or hard-hitting
I think
melodies.
It's got to be because of the riff, man. It's super
Yeah.
recognizable. Like
Like
that
that opening synth growl.
Yeah.
I just think as far as Rush songs go, it's super recognizable. Like again, Rush, very like lyrically inclined band, but as far as songs go, Tom Sawyer's super recognizable.
So you think maybe it's the first like 10 seconds of the song that really makes it if you think about
Yeah.
it. Because in the
Yeah.
end, when you hear that beginning piano thing, it's like, all right, hearing this for the 10th time on the radio, you know.
Yeah.
But you recognize it, and it's a hook. The piano itself is essentially a hook that gets you into it.
Nobody knows Bytor and the Snow Dog.
How about Grand Designs? Huh? How about that?
There you go.
Or Witch Hunt?
Right? Xanadu.
Dude, that song's so good though. I love Grand Designs.
It's real good. I've been getting into Power Windows lately, man. I'm all about it.
Dude, Power Window slaps. I don't care about what anyone else says.
Yeah, all my homies love Power Windows.
I'm not sure how we ended up on 3 minutes of Rush or our final episode of Linkin Park.
Well, we were
But I was
talking
just saying,
about
like-
in the end. It's because in the end.
It's like,
'Cause of
yeah,
the-
I just wonder what makes a radio hit, because in the end is, I don't even think it's arguably the biggest radio hit of at least their discography, but
No.
they still play it on the radio, of course, and the song itself is almost 20 years old.
Right.
And I'm not saying age
Making me feel
necessarily
old.
defines its relevancy, but it's still relevant, which makes it, a classic.
This whole
But-
discussion just gives me an idea for another episode we can do at the end of the season. So
All right, let's do it. Put it in the docs. Well,
put it in the docs. All right.
I'm excited to see what. It's as egotistical as it sounds. I'm excited to see what I wrote because I don't even remember what I put down.
So it's
No, I
not
didn't either.
egotistical. That's like, all right, your memory sucks.
Damn, there's that
Right.
shit on Zach's stuff I was talking about again.
No, dude, no one remembered their listing. I looked at it and I was just like, why did I put it like that? That's so dumb.
It was very off the cuff. I think I did it at the end of like the last notes I took for the album, so it was kind of just like I was tired. I had listened to everything, and I was like, "All right, whatever. You got to do
Yeah,
it."
like you were saying, Ryan, I think we didn't really appreciate this whole album until we kind of collectively thought about it,
Right.
You gain so much intel on deeper meanings that you didn't even think about until someone said something. And they might have said something that didn't give you that information. You kind of figured it out yourself by like, oh wait, what about this? This could
Yeah.
have been what it meant. And then I proceed to like screw you up in the brain because you're like,
Right.
why?
It's like confirmation of this, like, oh yeah, that's definitely not it. And then you say
Yeah.
it and I'm like, son of a bitch.
Damn.
Like why does he make me think so hard about one line? We've been talking about this one verse for 30 minutes.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes, that happened this episode.
Yeah, I was gonna say shout out to earlier this episode.
I feel like it was just a couple minutes ago.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
let's see your ranking.
I'm scared, guys. I'm kind of scared.
Marty, I'm scared.
Marty.
Janet. Marty.
All right, I'm ready to get grilled. Here we go.
There you go. What is your problem, bro? One step closer. Are you serious?
What is your problem, bro?
Holy wow. 10 compared to Ryan's 1? Holy.
Wow.
Man, I
That just-
took a very different.
This
Very
shows
different
you
approach.
how differently people listen to certain music.
So I went with Points of Authority,
Points of
as
Authority.
number 1, eh?
Which is number 5,
I
respectively.
really like
for
Points of
me.
Authority.
I do.
surpri-
I do.
Yeah.
So how does Points of
So
Yeah.
you guys very similar with you and Crawling, and I guess arguably in the end is pretty close as well.
Yeah. Yeah, again, like the more popular songs, I guess, I ranked kind of like middle of the road. Like they're good, but I don't think that they are as good as they could be, if that makes sense. Like there's definitely more there, I guess.
Right.
And the fact that they are overplayed, I guess, also kind of skews my opinion of them a little bit more.
Fair.
So, in the end, is probably the most, like we were saying, the most popular radio hit. But what would you think is the second most popular Linkin Park hit off this album?
Crawling.
Okay, because that's why I was curious why you put it on third. So it still hasn't really been ruined from radio airplay.
No, it's not nearly as played as In the End by any means.
Right.
I also ranked it as high as I did because of the way that it sets the stage for the rest of the album. Again, Crawling is track number 5, but it also, again, tells what is going to be happening in the second half of the album, where it's really more of a struggle of something that's going on inside the person or inside their own head. So that's why I ranked it as high as I did.
It's such a strong emotional release of a song itself, so I think it definitely deserves more praise than I think some people do, because they might think it's overplayed, but they're not doing what we're doing.
No.
Right, exactly.
No.
They're like, oh.
I don't think anybody's doing what we're doing, guys.
No.
Yeah.
So, Points of Authority, I believe I ranked it as high as I did because of like the opening parts of it, where because it's like a whole like rap section of it. Forfeit the game before somebody else takes you out of the frame. That whole part that you said you couldn't do, Max. That's the part that I really like.
Right, exactly, because it's so good.
And that like tinny beat on the downbeats of every measure, it drives really hard.
You have to think you're never wrong.
Yeah, if you would ask me to rank all these now, I definitely would do them differently. So.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I guess I like the real driving nature of Points of Authority. I wanted to point out that Cure for the Itch, I ranked higher, like much more higher than you did, Ryan.
Yeah.
What happened to him? I don't know what happened to Craig. He gone.
Oh, I didn't even notice.
I wanted to bring it up before my Audacity also quit when I unplugged my mic, Max. So.
Oh boy.
Well,
sounds like we got some
OBS audio again.
Sounds like we got some work ahead of us, is what it sounds like.
Great.
Yeah, I ranked Cure for the Itch the way that I did because of the way that it tells the story. I also think that it's two reasons. It tells the story the way that it is, right? But also the fact that they took the time to give the DJ a showcase for themselves. They did not have to do this, right? They took time out of the album. They dedicated track time to the DJ in this case. And I think that it speaks to the kind of like integrity as a band or like a unit that they had, or like the fact that they were willing to do that was significant to me. So that's why I ranked it a little bit higher than I did.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Not the song itself, but the almost behind the scenes meaning of actually having it there to begin with.
Right. And then the one that I ranked the least was By Myself. I'll be honest, I ranked By Myself so lowly because I just don't like the way the song sounds compared to the other ones.
Fair enough.
So, again, my interpretation, but whatever. It's whatever. I would rank it differently now if you ask me to.
Definitely.
Max, are you ready?
It's funny, I just edited a couple songs, but I don't really remember the rest of it, so I'm going to be a little in the dark, not as much, but kind of like you guys were.
All right. Here we go. Ooh.
Max,
interesting.
Twinning. And then Zach, we're twinning on one thing as well.
Place for My Head came in at 11. Nice. Oh, oof.
What?
Oof. Look at By Myself. Yikes.
I think it's a banger. I don't care about what
you
think about that one.
Yikes, dude.
So I changed Pushing Me Away because we were listening to it earlier.
Yeah, we
Um,
were. You and I were twinning on that one.
Yeah, and I didn't look at what yours was. I just put it as kind of adjusting what the other ones were. So it's not like I wouldn't look them like, ooh, we're gonna twin. Like I actually just adjusted it based on my own scores.
You guys were on the same page with Cure for the Itch too.
Yeah, so I understand your meaning behind having a showcase for the DJ. I think that's really cool, but from a more less behind the scenes and just part of the canon, part of the the album, it just didn't really have much meaning. Now, after we discussed it about like, okay, well, this could be about getting into drugs, like his introduction,
Mm-hmm.
in his life. But at the same time, we've already kind of brought up drugs and addiction before, so it kind of feels repetitive at the same time. So
Fair enough. Yeah,
didn't seem very important to the story.
I agree. As far as storytelling goes, not super important, but
Right.
it is part of it nonetheless.
The fact that there's no lyrics doesn't help either.
But once again, if you do what we did, it's pretty significant to the story potentially. So that's
Right.
weird.
It's not that's what I was saying before, is there's no like bad song on here. It's just it has the least information out of the
Yeah.
rest of them. So it just seems very unimportant
I'll be
compared to
honest.
the rest of the album.
I think when I first listened to the album and I got to that song, I was probably like, "What the hell is this?" We got all this rock, and now there's like nothing.
Yeah. I think one of the things that's actually funny now looking at this is in the end I have the highest ranking for that one compared to you guys. And I think it's because I really enjoy playing that on the drums. Like I've regained a lot of interest in that song after I started practicing to it, because like again, radio ruined it, but playing it brought it back. So that's why it's a little bit higher on my scale.
Video killed the radio star, man.
Indeed. That's on Vice City, right?
I think so. Yeah.
I couldn't tell.
We have a special
game.
guest.
Special guest. Is she very vocal tonight?
She's like, I also interpret the sun and moon as happiness and sadness. Yep.
Oh, Uncle John, that's not
Yep, crawling is about drug addiction, yep.
Yep,
You got it.
Good job, Remy.
Yep.
Excellent.
What else? What else you got?
Yep, Don Gilmore is definitely a really good producer. Yep.
I feel bad about number 2 with One Step Closer. I was so far off
That's
compared to
harsh.
you guys.
That is harsh.
Yeah, that's harsh for sure.
What was your...
Thanks.
You must have had some type of meaning behind it when you were... Like, was it just because it's been overplayed for you? Or least meaning? I don't know.
I guess I think the reason why I ranked it as low as I did was because of it was like frustrating to me personally in a way, because this is One Step Closer. The song itself is like their indecision to do something about the situation that they're in. So the fact
Right.
that it was so frustrating, like, A, means that it did a really good job of, conveying that emotion, but B, made me really frustrated listening to it. So because of that, I ranked it really low.
Yeah, so the actual emotional context of the song frustrated you into not appreciating the emotions behind it, I guess, in a way.
In a weird sense, yeah, I would agree with you.
Interesting. So it seems like, based on the rankings, we all interpreted it a little differently, of course. But I think yours, Zach, was more emotionally driven.
Yeah,
I think mine might have been a little bit, of course, musically driven.
Yeah,
more
I think it's
melodically driven.
musicality for me.
And I think, I think Ryan, yours kind of fit kind of in the middle between Zach and I,
Yeah,
in a way.
I kind of bridge the gap between all of us.
Because there's some things that, each one of us kind of relate to. There's some of us that are twinning, and some of them on other songs are not.
Right.
I'm curious to see how we did overall. What's gonna end up at the bottom?
This is the official ranking of each song
Absolutely.
of best to worst.
Let's find out here. We'll apply a filter. All right. There it is.
Wow.
So Crawling at the top.
Interesting.
I'll be honest, I kind of like this, guys. I like it.
Yeah.
Huh.
I've like in the end barely moved. Like it's just where it is in album order, pretty much.
It is exactly where it is in album order.
Cure for the Itch is like, yeah, I'm down here. I knew I belong here.
Yeah.
Yep, still itching.
Yeah. Interesting. So, man, we had real clear-cut winners though, too. Look at how much of a difference there is on the top 3 compared to the rest. I guess even top 6, I guess. Like very clearly half the album was, I guess, better in a way compared to the rest of it.
Yeah,
Interesting.
the beginning half seemed to be better.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then number 10. If it wasn't for me, Forgotten would be much lower on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
But yeah,
I was trying to
interesting.
I was trying to look at that before you revealed everything. I was like trying to do a quick math.
Quick maths.
So it's like the first half of the album just kind of drags us in more, and then as I guess it makes sense because we've interpreted the album as just kind of progressing, and the later songs are kind of repetitive. So it's like, was that our feeling subconsciously beforehand?
Yeah, I think
I
the
don't
first
know.
few songs are just what get you in, and then they solidify even further, but also make you ask more questions at the same
Right.
time.
Again, yeah, because we did all these rankings very early on. We did these rankings before we even started recording the episodes for this.
Yeah.
So they're not tainted, quote unquote, tainted, not tainted by our discussion at all. Interesting.
Right.
Yeah, in fact, since we listened, like I said, it changed a couple things, actually only 3 songs around, but it was before we started recording this one, and it was the songs that were affected by this episode. So I didn't have the contextual discussion behind it while I
Right.
was re-ranking some of them.
Which ones did you change?
I don't remember. I think it was somewhere around the 6th. So it was Pushing Me Away, because we were listening to that one. So I changed that to 6. And then I must have put it, I was debating with you whether or not that was better than Pushing Me Away. And I made the decision that a little bit, but not by much. It's so close. Just melodically.
Again, with One Step Closer, it would have been like the clear-cut winner.
It would have been number uno, is what it would have
Right.
been.
Probably.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys. I rained on your parade.
That's okay. I can forgive you this time, I think.
However, Ryan, like you said, I think that our ranking where the first 6 songs essentially are at the top, yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's probably accurate. And I wonder how much of that is because those are the songs that you would listen to more, just because they're at the beginning of the album.
Yeah, because you didn't have time to listen all the way through, so those you like made it up to like halfway through because you had to go
Yeah.
be somewhere else or eat dinner or whatever when you
Yeah.
got home from school.
Would it be the same if the order was reversed for whatever reason?
Yeah, right. If they started out with Cure for the Itch, would that be number 1? Or...
Oof. I don't think the album would have been listened to if Cure for the Itch was the first track on the
Like,
album.
really? This is what you went with for no.
Man, That would have been the real way to Quentin Tarantino it, Ryan. Start with the end
Right.
as the beginning.
Yeah, definitely.
Just like, wait, it gets better. It gets better. Trust me.
Right. Just please stay.
Just go on to track 2.
It'll get better.
And it goes in the paper cut.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Or
don't know.
I don't know.
Well, I'm happy we made it to the end, guys. We made it
Yeah.
to the end.
Yeah, this
Right.
episode's a little bit longer than the other ones, but I think there was a lot to unpack in the rankings. And I think Forgotten definitely had a lot more than I think we expected in terms
Yeah.
of stuff behind it.
With it kind of being the culmination of, the first half of the album, there's a lot in there. There's definitely a lot in there.
Yeah. Man. I hate to say it, but yeah. A lot of these songs, I don't think we ever could have anticipated how much we were going to unpack until we got
No.
to them.
Right. Yeah, I don't think any of us knew what we were really getting into with this, but it was a
We
good
know
idea.
now.
In
We know
retrospect,
now.
it was a great idea.
I still think it's a great idea. I can't wait for the next album on our list.
Episode 2.
All right.
Me neither.
Anything else you guys want to add? I'm happy, man. This was a lot of fun, and I can't wait to do it again with you guys.
I agree. I hope you guys listening and watching out there enjoyed as much as we did.
And I think the book is closed on Hybrid Theory.
Yep.
I think so too.
Finn.
I think we've done about all we can do here when it comes to hybrid theory. Well,
Yep.
Cool. If you made it this far, thank you again for listening. We appreciate you listening to the Muddled Thoughts podcast. Feel free to reach out to us on social media, leave a comment on YouTube, wherever you're listening to the podcast. Let us know what you think. We're monitoring every single platform, so we hear you, and we would love to interact with you more. Let us know what songs you thought were the best on the album. Did you disagree with us on anything? Is there a story being told? Is everything supposed to be, taken in a vacuum and just looked at individually? Let us know. Let us know. That's what makes this fun, is when we hear from you guys. So until next time, gentlemen, it's been a pleasure. I'm looking forward to next episode and album. Just all of it. I'm looking forward to everything. Just
Looking
everything.
forward to stuff. All right.
I'm gonna shut up now. I'll see you guys next time.
All right. Keep your glasses full, folks.
Yep, don't be a simp. Don't do it.